Dr. Putnam, thank you. Thank you for your books. Mr. Chairman, let me begin with a few thoughts on this hearing. Dr. Murray has rather infamously written, and I quote, "No woman has been a significant, original thinker in any of the world's great philosophical traditions," end quote. Let's think about that for a moment. It's not only grossly unfair, it's demonstrably untrue. From Hypatia, the great Greek mathematician, astronomer, and philosopher, who was the head of the Neoplatonic school during the Byzantine Empire, to Maria Mitchell, the first woman to discover a comet, to Grace Hopper, who wrote COBOL, one of the first computer programming languages, to the now famous mathematicians from the Academy Award-winning nominated movie, Hidden Figures, who helped America win the space race, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, to Maria Mayer, who won the Nobel Prize in Physics, and Speaker Ryan's all-time favorite philosopher, Anne Ryan. These are just some of the lucky few, the women who defied the odds and the structural barriers to succeed in philosophy and science. Just think about how many more could have joined their ranks. Women solve problems, cure diseases, and invent the next great thing over and over again. Yet we must continually combat the stereotypes in Dr. Murray's work. Offensive views about a woman's capabilities are wrong-headed and hold women back from their full potential. These ideas keep women out of STEM fields in schools, out of executive positions at work, out of the boardroom, and out of Congress. We even see them in presidential politics, when one candidate claimed that a woman did not have, quote, the stamina, end quote, for the presidency. These biases are a crutch and excuse to not address the real barriers women face in our economy, underinvestment in childcare, the lack of any paid parental leave, unequal pay, and so on and so on. In my humble opinion, Congress should not give these ideas a platform, and our committee should not seek to elevate offensive claims that rely on spurious evidence. I would like to ask Dr. Small and Dr. Levin, we like to think about America on the cutting edge, but our policies hold back today's working families in so many ways. New parents are not guaranteed working families paid leave for the birth of a child. We're among 2 nations in the world that do not provide this safety net guaranteed to our families. Many of eligible young people cannot access Head Start. Our Family and Medical Leave Act, a very important bill, but it should include other important family challenges, such as conferences with teachers on a child's performance in school. And millions of low-wage workers don't have a predictable schedule. They can't even count on knowing when they're going to be working even a few days ahead of time. A situation that Senator Heinrich pointed out was a challenge his own mother confronted. So Dr. Small, how would addressing these policies, these are concrete policies that we could address, how could addressing these shortcomings enable America's working families to build a better, stronger social capital and social network?
Congresswoman, thank you for the question. It actually provides a great opportunity to connect the prior conversation to this one. I'd like to make an important observation about the rise in the rate of births to unmarried mothers, which is that it's not so much the case that working class parents are driving the trend, it's that upper middle class parents are the exception. In other words, it's really only among upper middle class parents where this trend has not risen. In fact, to put this in perspective, you might remember that in the 1960s, the old Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan put out a report on the Negro family, a case of national action, it was titled. And he pointed out that among African Americans, births to unmarried mothers were extremely high. Well, today, births among middle-class whites are higher than they were to to African Americans at the time Moynihan was writing. It's a trend that's happened across the board. Again, not upper middle class, but they're not just upper middle class and working class people. There are lots of middle class people out there. And among the middle class, the trends are high, and they're higher than they were when Moynihan sounded the alarm. What this tells us is not that this is not an issue, but that the core problem was the lack of resources to manage having given birth as an unmarried mother rather than just giving birth as an unmarried mother, because many middle-class parents who are doing so today seem to be doing fine. In that context, I think the point you've made about the importance of opportunities for those mothers is essential. We are unique among developing countries in the paucity of resources and opportunities we give to mothers early and shortly after, during and shortly after the birth of their children to participate fully in the economic system. This includes insufficient opportunities for paid leave, also insufficient support for full-time early education for their children, and also not fully effective or efficient enforcement of anti-discrimination legislation. I think if you saw support for both of these three things, you would find that those families who choose to do what increasingly everyone is doing will find that their mothers participate as fully in the economic system as their inherent abilities would naturally, and in many other countries, provide them the opportunity to do so.